The official death toll here now surpasses any other in Europe.
My heart goes out to anyone that's lost.
He said that many people were looking at the apparent success of the government's approach. But yesterday we learned, tragically, that at least 29,427 people in the UK have now lost their lives to this dreadful virus. That's now the highest number in Europe. It's the second highest in the world. That's not success, or apparent success.
It was a straightforward answer to what might have been a difficult question. Why is Germany managing to keep its death rate lower than we are?
Maybe there was something we could have done, but it's too late now.
We all know that Germany got ahead in terms of its ability to do testing for the virus, and there's a lot to learn from that, and we've been trying to learn the lessons.
If we'd managed to ramp testing capacity quicker, it would have been beneficial. And, for all sorts of reasons, that didn't happen.
What is needed is testing, tracing and isolation.
We have a simple message for all countries. Test, test, test. We cannot stop this pandemic if we don't know who is infected.
Why was contact tracing abandoned in mid-March and not restarted sooner?
That capacity was no longer useful or relevant since the transmission from individuals within the UK meant that it exceeded our capacity then.
Maybe we should do something about it, but there's nothing we can do.
It's clear you need lots of testing for this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the Prime Minister's confirmed it was a capacity problem.
If we'd been doing this a little bit earlier, a lot of people might not have died.
Yes, if we had 100,000 test capacity.
What's come out from places that have begun to get on top of this is doing a lot of testing, a lot of proactive segregation and quarantining. I've been working in Bahrain, where they've got to deal with a lot of religious pilgrims who are, half of whom coming back are positive. They're being segregated. They've built special camp for them, like a Butlins place, and they are being quarantined. We didn't do anything with the Italians coming back. They're all gone home. They're all around the country. Many of them will have the virus, and the same with the Madrid football supporters. Governments have got predictions that if you get one serious case in a care home, you might finish up with a mortality rate of up to 30%. They haven't told anybody that.
There's growing anger over how coronavirus has taken hold in care homes across the UK. The government suggests that 1 in 4 of the overall deaths in England have been in care homes. The National Care Association says they feel completely abandoned, while others are questioning how quickly the extra £600 million of funding for the care sector will get to those who need it.
Homeless people sleeping on the street, are a major vulnerable group.
So the government's called on councils to house all homeless people by the end of last weekend, yet many people are still on the street. And those who were told to wait for their phones to ring have been waiting for days, with phones dying and with no means of charging them.
We've got overcrowding in our prisons, in some really crummy Victorian prisons. And those places will be very vulnerable to outbreaks. It's not just the prisoners. The guards come and go. The guards are part of their community. They can bring the virus into a prison environment and it can take off.
There's also the challenge of social distancing in institutions which in some cases were already overcrowded.
It is not possible to self-isolate. I'm in a single cell, but less than 4 inches away there's a woman in the next door cell who is coughing her guts out. I still don't have the soap I ordered nearly a month ago. We don't get hand sanitizer. It has alcohol in it, and they say people will drink it or sniff it.
Since we've been in lockdown, 550 people have come into the country. Not one of them, to my knowledge, has been returned.
I fear we could be on the verge of something almost approaching an invasion this year. Yes, I know it's a contentious word, but if thousands and thousands of people come in hundreds and hundreds of boats, it's difficult to find a different word. This Home Secretary, rather like previous ones, has talked very tough and is finding it difficult because of EU rules, finding it difficult because I don't think the Prime Minister feels very strongly about this. I mean, bear in mind, as Mayor of London, Boris Johnson more than once advocated a total amnesty for illegal immigrants.
You talk about social distancing is here to stay, but we've got this ludicrous situation in our airports right now, which seems utterly bizarre and mind-boggling. Between the start of the year and March the 22nd, 18 million people arrived in this country into airports. Only 273 were quarantined. We reckon there's about 15,000 people a day coming in here. There's no checks, there's no tests. The safety of airport workers is paramount, and also people could be bringing coronavirus in from countries like America, from Asia, from parts of Africa, and we're not testing them, and we don't seem to be doing anything about this, and it seems utterly bizarre.
We're taking the first careful steps to modify our measures. And the first step is a change of emphasis that we hope that people will act on this week. We said that you should work from home if you can, and only go to work if you must. We now need to stress that anyone who can't work from home, for instance, those in construction or manufacturing, should be actively encouraged to go to work.
There are risks that really what it boils down to is them wanting to take the lockdown off and ease us back in, and they just don't really know what's going to happen, so they're trying a bit, and then if it doesn't work, we'll lock down again. I mean, that seems to be my take.
Yeah, I was just looking at my notes from the last few weeks, and just a week ago we were still having 700 deaths reported per day. I think it's been taken as permission that life goes back to normal, and I think it's a big mistake.
Robert Jenrick, the government has dropped its original stay-at-home message and has substituted stay alert. For us to drop the clear, well-understood stay-at-home message right now could be a potentially catastrophic mistake.
There's a difference, isn't there, between people going out to party and people getting on the tube, because you can definitely avoid a party.
Mrs. Kennington,
but if you've been told to go back to work, it's quite hard if you need to do the tube to go to work. It's quite hard to avoid other people.
It's
However many times the government says, you know, you must social distance on public transport.
No, absolutely. I mean, obviously not everyone can cycle, not everybody can walk. A lot of people can.